All right, we're in episode 119 here as we continue our trek around Manhattan with the Vision and Spitfire. So we're going to start off with this race right here that we stopped at the end of the last episode. And again, most of these races all handle just about the same. Some of them are better than others about giving you indications about where they're going next. Some of them are better than others about the kind of obstacles they give you. And then some of them are longer, and some of them are shorter. So you could get stuck in a really long race that you kind of get tired of, or you could find a race where it just sort of ends on you, and you're kind of surprised by that fact. One of the things I don't like about the races is you often end up seeing the same things over and over again because many of the routes sort of intersect. But you know, this is. For a road race, I'm willing to sacrifice that because at least it's easier to control things down here than it is on an aerial race. And so we are still moving. Now, if a race goes longer than a minute, I consider that to be a relatively long race. So here's our finish line down here, and we now have access to the Roxxon van. And now we can go find something else to do. So over here, not far from where we were, is She-Hulk. So let's talk to her.
Only kidding. This isn't one of those beat so many bad guys kind of quests. Instead, I could use some help tracking down the known criminal who walked free in my court case. He's as guilty as I am green, but the evidence just isn't solid enough yet. I just know that if we can find his hideout, I'll have that conniving crook dead to rights. Shall we?
And so we now have to follow She-Hulk to find evidence. And she said that we wouldn't have to beat up anybody. So this seems like it'd be pretty easy, right? And you have to follow She-Hulk, which is both good and bad. Good in the fact that she's easy to track. Bad in the fact that she's slow, or moving slow. And therefore, it takes a while to get anywhere when you're following her around. You can see that I'm sort of stopping and starting with the Vision in various places here. And here we have some bad guys. Lo and behold, who knew? But, you know, that might just have been a fluke. You know, this might be an area where bad guys are supposed to spawn or, or something like that. You know, these sort of Hydra-looking guys with their Winter Soldier guns. It might have nothing to do with the fact that we're following She-Hulk and she happened to take us through this area. Nothing at all. And there's a fair number of these guys. This is sort of one of the differences between being the Vision and being an Iron Man-like character. Is the Vision can't shoot missiles, so he can't sort of one-shot. He can't one-shot things without engaging them in melee combat. So you have to get your button press right if you want the Vision to to more easily get through foes. All right, well, okay, we got more of these bad guys. You know, I could have sworn She-Hulk said that this was not going to be one of those fight a bunch of enemies missions. What's also interesting is that she doesn't comment on their presence either. You know, you keep following her around, she never says anything about this. Okay. I think we're done with those now. So maybe now She-Hulk can get on to the business of, tracking down this evidence that she needs. We're crossing the street over here again. All right, we're going down into the subway. This seems useful. And we run into more guys. Now what's interesting about these guys is you can see that we're beating them up right here down on the first floor of the subway, which means that anybody on the second floor or one of the overhangs should be able to see what's going on and act accordingly. You know, either call the police or run away. Instead, as we go up these stairs, we have a bad guy hiding his evidence, even though he clearly has seen what we were doing below, and his compatriots get stomped on. He's still here, and so is his evidence. But at least we unlock She-Hulk, and now we can move on and do something else. Alright, new character time. This is not a, as Spitfire gets ready to run this race here, the character that we have accompanying Spitfire at the moment is not a character from the game. It is a created character. His name is Black Falcon. Black Falcon is the nickname chosen by basketball player Harrison Barnes when he was still at the University of North Carolina, and he might have had it earlier than that, like when he was in high school. But since, you know, he had this nickname, I thought it would be funny to make a superhero persona based off of it. The thing is that all this footage is probably about a year old now, if not more. And so as we now get to see a full view of Harrison Barnes, the Black Falcon, as he is now going to take on Ronan the Accuser, you can see that his suit, his costume, is Quicksilver's costume with yellow details, you know, in the pants and on the sleeves. That's because at the time Barnes was playing for the Golden State Warriors, whose colors kind of look like this. Now, I gave Barnes Tony Stark's face, so he has Iron Man powers, which you'll see right here because all of a sudden we're going to be stuck in a beam struggle with Ronan the Accuser. Now, I gave him Iron Man powers so that he would have the ability to fly. You know, since NBA basketball players are capable of dunking and getting mad ups. The other power that he has is he's got Hawkeye's bow, because Harrison Barnes, while not as famous as some of the other guys on the Warriors roster last year, is, you know, pretty much made his money as a shooter. So the bow is supposed to reflect that fact. So that's the explanation I have for the Black Falcon. If I was going to remake the Black Falcon now, I'd have to change his colors to those of the Dallas Mavericks. And I don't know offhand how well that would have worked, because it was just so convenient to have Quicksilver's body. Again, I kind of miss the fact that before I got this game, in the very earliest months or when it was released, you could customize the colors of the custom character stuff. So I could have just turned this suit blue and green, as opposed to having to look for a blue and green kind of combination suit to fix this. Alright, so we're going to stick around with Harrison, since we finished off Ronan the Accuser. Another Guardians of the Galaxy character who somehow made it into this game, although not the main Guardians of the Galaxy characters. Could that be that there's a Lego Guardians game coming out in the future? Who knows? But since Harrison can fly here, we'll keep using him. After all, his nickname is the Black Falcon, therefore he does need to fly. Since there's already a character who is known as the Falcon, who is also African American, I always thought the Black Falcon nickname was kind of redundant and unnecessary, but, you know, it wasn't my creation. I just created the character to go along with it. You know, Harrison Barnes came up with that particular nickname. I don't believe Sam Wilson was ever referred to as the Black Falcon. But then again, that would take more comic book knowledge than I have. As we continue to maneuver around, and here's one that's kind of hard to get to. And now we're going to end up on a street soccer court. Not quite the street basketball court that would have been most appropriate for Barnes. But now, for our last little duty of the day here, we're going to let Spitfire run through another race. And so we can pick up another vehicle that we can unlock later in the whole big unlock episode. You know, right now I have not been unlocking characters except for those that I want to unlock, just so that I don't have to worry about cycling through all those characters trying to find the right person, because only a few of them are visible. And once you unlock Create a Character, you could really design a set of created characters that would make the rest of the game's characters kind of obsolete anyway. But we're heading up the hill now here in East Harlem. Going off to the left, we're getting very close to the end. Here it is. We've done it. Give us the Hydra tank, and we will continue roaming through Manhattan, perhaps with the Black Falcon next time. Bye-bye.